What's up, everyone? Mike Ellick here, your local realtor, and we're about to show you how to start the home buying process.
All this time, I've been feeling hopeless till you came around, came around. All this time, you're the only reason I'm not chasing highs, chasing highs.
We are actually here with Tamara Polito, part of Team Polito from the finance group. She is a loan officer, right? And Tamara and I are going to talk about how, like, if you're a first-time home buyer, what the process looks like to get that started. So, Tamara, being my expert, one of my go-to lenders, I wanted to reach out to you for the help here, and I appreciate your time. I know it's valuable right now, right? There's a lot going on. So, with that, take us through, real quick what the process that well, you don't have to do it real quick, but take us through the process of what a brand new buyer needs to do in order to get a new home.
So when you're a first time buyer, the first thing that you're going to do obviously is reach out to your loan officer. That would be someone like myself. We always recommend that a buyer goes with a broker who has the ability to shop to multiple lenders as opposed to walking into a bank. So you do have the opportunity to make that first call to your local bank, but when you do that, you're narrowing it down to just one option for you. So if you have maybe some questionable credit issues or some concerns with your debt to income ratio, that bank may turn you away and say, you know what, you don't qualify, come back in 6 months. Whereas if you go and you start originally with a mortgage broker, you actually have the opportunity to find out if different lenders can offer you something right off the bat with only one credit pull. So step one is reach out to a mortgage broker, someone like myself, to get you started. You're going to make that initial phone call, and then we're going to say, hey, this is an easy process. It's going to take you 15 minutes. Go ahead and fill out an online application located here.
Right here.
So we're going to have you fill out the online application. If you're not tech savvy and you don't like it, no big deal. We'll do a phone consultation. It takes you 10 minutes over the phone. We go through where you live, where you work, how long you've worked there. Some of the concerns that people often have is, hey, I've only been at my job 6 months. Is that going to be a problem? No. As long as you've worked in total for about 2 years, and that can include college education, then you're not going to have an issue. We just don't want to see gaps of more than 6 months where you were unemployed unless you could still go back another 2 years before that.
So the college, it can be like a gap if you're working and then go to school.
Yep, yep.
The college actually
So
works.
the college counts. So college plus work history, we need about 2 years for most people.
Okay.
But if you've only been at this current job for 6 months, that's not a problem. In some cases, we can even get away with 3 months and 1 month. But in general, you want to shoot for at least 3 months at your current job before applying. So we're going to ask you about your current employer and any money that you may have saved up. We will ask you if you've had a bankruptcy, a foreclosure, if you pay child support, maybe some alimony. So they're going to ask you some questions that might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but that's okay. We're here to help you. So just ride on by, give us the truth, and we'll be able to figure out the best way to navigate around situations that you may be concerned with. So all in all, that phone conversation or online app is 10, 15 minutes tops. Then we're going to ask you to upload a couple items, and these are 5 really, really easy items. The first one is your driver's license.
We'll have it listed up there.
We just want to make sure you are who you say you are and that we spelled your name correctly. You don't want to have to pull credit twice. So we ask for a copy of your driver's license or an identification card. We will ask you for 1 month of paycheck stubs to get a pretty good feel whether you're full-time or part-time. And then we're going to ask you for your last 2 years worth of W-2s. I don't want your whole tax return. That's a lot of paperwork. I just want that piece of paper you get at the end of the year from your employer that tells me how much your employer paid you in wages for the year. It's called a W-2. Now, if you're self-employed, in that case, I am going to ask for 2 years worth of your tax returns. And we just want federal, we don't need state. But again, that's one of those times where you can go ahead and ask your loan officer and we'll walk you through that process. It's very easy. But if you think about that, that was a very short list. ID, month of paycheck stubs, 2 years worth of W-2s.
But I imagine sometimes people make it a little harder.
They do. Some things to keep in mind is if you send half of your paycheck stub and then the other part's cut off, you might think I don't need it, but the truth is there's a lot of information I'm looking for on that piece of paper. So anytime you send or scan a piece of paper over to your loan officer, make sure you can see all 4 corners of that document. That way we could get all the information that we're looking for. And of course, you want it to be recent. Please don't send me last year's paycheck stubs. That doesn't tell me anything about what you're making right now.
Right. That's awesome. That's pretty, I mean, when you break it down, even though, you know, you may have talked for a few minutes,
Yeah.
it's actually a pretty easy process, right?
It's
Just to
super
get
easy.
started.
15 minutes.
The hard part is what that information provides and where it goes from there. And then, you know, sometimes we, as buyers, you know, I was a buyer, you were a buyer. I think you're actually a buyer
Buyer right now.
right now, going through the process. You know, sometimes we want to champ on or we want to sham. We want to shop on, you know, a champagne taste with a beer budget, right?
Right, right.
We deal with that every day, honestly. You know, somebody will say, what can I afford? And then all of a sudden they're sending you houses above what they can afford. So,
Or vice versa.
right.
Maybe you qualify for a lot, but you're not comfortable with that payment. And that's where the back and forth takes place between me and you. We try to make it really easy. I'm going to ask you, what are you comfortable paying a month?
Mhm.
We may need to push you a little bit above your comfort level, or I may need to bring you down a little bit, depending on where you're at with what you qualify for. One of the little tricks that we use is if you're jumping from, let's say, $1,000 rent to a $2,000 mortgage payment, that might sound very scary.
Mhm.
Well, while you're shopping, sometimes it takes a month, 3 months to find a house, maybe more. So during that time, what we recommend is you make your $1,000 rent payment and then go ahead and take another $1,000 and put it in the savings in the form of paying my mortgage for 3 months. Let's see if you're comfortable making that payment. Now, here you are 3 months later, you've made that payment and you know what? We weren't that squeezed. We're pretty comfortable with that number. It's not as bad as it seems. Or you might find you need to taper it back a little bit, then we'll shop in a lower price range. But that gives you the opportunity to practice your payment. And now we've got 3,000 extra dollars sitting in your savings account to go towards your home purchase.
Perfect. And then once you are approved, which hopefully you are, Tamara or the lender that you're dealing with will provide you with an approval letter. And one of the things I like working with Tamara about is the fact that we get what's called a DU approval for an FHA loan, or what's the
DU and LP for
LP
conventional. Yep.
for conventional. What that means is it's already been partially underwritten, right? So we are farther along in the process. So for realtors, that's important because now when we go to write offers, especially in this very competitive market, we can actually shorten our time frame. So working with somebody like Tamara is the benefit because you get to write a little more competitive offers. So
Yep.
I think that was explained beautifully. You did it all in one, right? Uh, the other thing is when you do call a realtor and you're interested in looking, one of the things we are going to do is our first thing to you is we would love to go show you houses right away, right? Problem is we don't know what you qualify for, and we're not trying to be rude. So my first steps always to direct you towards a lender, ask you if you have a lender. Otherwise, I'll direct you to somebody like Tamara and have them go through this process that she just explained with you. So make sure if you're looking to buy, find a good lender, reach out to me, reach out to Tamara. That way we can get you going on the process, and we will have more videos like this going through the whole process with Tamara and I. So keep watching. Tamara, that was awesome. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome.
All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely. Give us a call, email us. That'll all be right here. Thanks all.